I'm Brett Endies, and what we're going to do today is show you how to integrate the place training exercises into your everyday routines around the house. For some of you, you may have watched that previous video on how to teach the place training and all the steps needed to get your dog to understand how to go to the spot and remain there on cue. Now I'm going to talk about how to use this, and it is something that is so valuable, whether it be teaching your puppy not to roam all over the house and get into mischief, teaching your dog to be calmer when you have guests in the home, if you want your dog to just learn how to hang out with you off to the side when you're watching TV or working at your desk. This is such a wonderful command to practice and teach your dog to do, and integrating it into your everyday coming and goings around the house. So the first exercise I want to show you is how to integrate the place training into the most common activity you're going to share with your dog, which is hanging out in the living room, sitting on the couch, watching television. So if you remember from the previous video on how to teach the place command, you want to create engagement, and that's what I've got from him here. I've got Gizmo checking in through his sit command, and now what I want to do is segue from this to the next cue, which is going to be the place, which is going to bring him to this space with me in command together, giving him his assigned seat, if you will. And now what I'm going to do, and my job, is to monitor him and maintain that attention and build that focus for whatever time duration we're spending this shared experience together. And as he checks in intermittently, he's going to get some praise, he's going to get a treat. And that's what you want to do, is just have your dog learn that while we're doing our human activities and we might seem a little distracted, we're keeping track of our dog at the same time through these commands and through these place exercises. So when we're doing this, we're going to want to always be using a leash. The reason is simply that you don't want your dog to get away with not listening when you ask them to, whether it be having him be able to stay in his place for the duration of time I'm asking him, or if he gets up before I do, I have the physical means to bringing him back. It just creates a consistency and an ability to do what we want start to finish and get him in a position to be able to earn more rewards while we're doing the training. I promise you, if you are consistent and you put in the time and you build this step by step, you will soon have your dog off leash and get all of that ability for your dog to listen the same as if you had it on them at this point. Okay, so now that we've used the place exercise to show Gizmo how to share this time with me while I'm watching television in the living room, I have to clearly define to him when the job is done. So it's either going to be by giving him a release command like we've shown in the other videos, by giving him a word like okay to signify that he's now off duty and can get up from the command that he's maintaining, or we segue into another command like heel, where it's going to show him that when he hears that cue, we're going to walk together still while in command to another location, whether it be to another area of the house, to the door to greet a guest, or out on a walk all together when we're going out into the world. So what I want to do now is show you how to use the place training to both prepare for, integrate into, and have a dog learn to settle when you have guests coming to the home for an initial greeting and then when they arrive. So we've got Gizmo here in his place. He's been calm for 10-15 minutes, which is about the amount of time you'd like to have your dog warmed up and prepared so they're nice and calm, focused, and in that command mode in preparation for the guest arriving. We have our guests going to be here any moment now, so what I want to do is when I hear that knock at the door, I want to watch how Gizmo's handling it. So he maintained a calm state. He didn't rush to the door and get overstimulated, so I'm going to reward him. Very good. And now on my command, what I want to do is now give him a cue of how we're going to get to the door together in a more calm, non-impulsive way. So I'm going to segue with the heel. We're going to shift into that command. I'm going to lead him at my side to the door, and I'm going to have him sit before we answer it. And this is going to just prevent any overreaction, any greetings, any overstimulated response to the guest coming in the house. So the guest comes in. Hey, how you doing? I'm going to shake the hand. Going to walk in together. And what I want to do is have Gizmo learn that by sitting and not jumping, that's how he's going to get his attention. So you can come and pet him now while he's sitting. So everybody wins in the end, but what we have to do is also train our guests and instruct them to give the dog attention only when they're calm, only when they're sitting, so it just offsets all of the reasons where a dog is just getting all of that inappropriate attention at the wrong time when they're too excited. So now once we've established our initial greeting, we're going to walk together with the heel back into our shared space. Then we're going to place Gizmo, give him his assigned seat, and then we're going to all coexist together with this calm order and structure while the dog is remaining calmly in their place, learning how to make these calmer associations start to finish when we have guests in the home. All right, so here's a scenario that you might get into where you didn't predict your dog to just start reacting to something. Your dog might just be barking at the window, pacing around without any rhyme or reason, following you impulsively. You have a guest that's shown up unexpected, and now you have to do some remedial place training. So we've got Gizmo here. He hears something out the window and he's just pacing around not knowing what to do. And it's my job to show him what to do. So I'm going to get my leash. I'm going to go over to him and I'm going to put it on him. And I'm going to really simply redirect him and show him now specifically what to do to replace this confusion and overreaction to what's going on in our shared environment with something that he can handle that creates a calmer redirection of what's going on. So I'm going to send him to his place. We're going to lead him just like we always have. I'm going to have him initiate the down. And I want to keep him here till he's calm. So you have to play around with this. You might tell him okay a minute later, and he goes right back to the window trying to engage what he was distracted by. That's the key to that. You're going to have to do this a little bit longer. So, it really depends on your dog, where they're at in their training and the level of distractions. But this place training is a really good way to put out those fires once they start happening that you didn't predict them to begin in the first place. So as you can see, place training is so important to utilize at any time that your dog is overreacting to what's going on in the home, following you, overreacting to greetings, barking at things extraneously in the environment. These are all times where you want to, in the most preventative way possible, teach your dog a calmer, non-reactive response to what's going on around them. However, you also saw where the place training could be used as a way to stop something in its tracks if you didn't predict it in the first place. So if your dog's barking or you have an unexpected guest or your dog is randomly following you, sending him to the place and keeping him there calm on command is also a good way to teach your dog how not to do certain behaviors that are going to occur in your home. Thanks for joining me. I'm Brett Endies. I'll see you next time.